Hello, welcome to Video Mania 2. I'm the man behind the counter, Duncan, and today we're going to talk about a movie I revisited recently. The star of this movie, Henry Cavill, has been in the news recently because it has been confirmed he will no longer play Superman. So I wanted to see the movie that started him in this role because I thought he was awesome as Superman. So we're going to talk about Man of Steel. It also stars Amy Adams as Lois Lane, Michael Shannon as General Zod, Russell Crowe is Jor-El, his Krypton dad, and Diane Lane is Martha Kent, and Kevin Costner is Jonathan Kent, the Kents who raised him in Smallville when he comes to Earth. The movie is told in a non-linear way. What I really liked about this is sometimes I don't like the non-linear storytelling because I think it's artsy for the sake of being artsy. But here I thought it was a nice touch because the thing with superhero movies now, when they reestablish and reboot all the time, like you got to go through the origin story again. So I got to sit through 40 minutes of I know exactly what's going to happen and why the character becomes what he does. But here, it was done. Zack Snyder, the director, did a different way of establishing the character and what Superman's about, but it just kind of went back and forth. And also, what I did like too is you didn't see too much of the destruction of Krypton. And here it went into more detail what caused it, what went on, the coup General Zod tried to lead towards the end of the planet's fate, and those kinds of things. And he was sentenced to the Phantom Zone, which he eventually escapes from to go to Earth, and that's an integral part to the plot. But what I liked here is, Clark Kent couldn't understand his place in the world, and that's told in different flashbacks, but he wants to help people. He has a good heart, and he wants to use his powers, but he doesn't want to expose himself either because, his parents are worried how people will react when they discover what he can do. So he goes around trying to do some good deeds here and there, and then go to incognito. And the plot here is when General Zod escapes the Phantom Zone, he was sentenced to Krypton. He comes to Earth with the terraforming technology to turn Earth into Krypton. And so that's the basic plot. And Superman has to step up because he's the only one that can stop him, and he learns who he is in the process. So it's very well done here. And the cast is great. And like I said, Henry Cavill is perfectly cast for this. And the score by Hans Zimmer is awesome. Instead of, the John Williams score that was very well known and established, you've heard him a million times. Hans Zimmer brought this new bombastic score that was very memorable in its own right. So that's another cool thing here. The movie is a little bit of a different take. Like visually, when I first saw it, I saw remnants of the Matrix, the Chronicles of Riddick, and Avatar. Avatar I saw like on Krypton. There were some parts of it that kind of reminiscent of Pandora to me. But it still does its own thing and enough to differentiate itself. But it was a different visual style for sure that Zack Snyder brought. And I did like Warner Brothers' willingness to take the risks to do something different here because, at this point the MCU kind of had their formula and I wanted to see something different. A lot of people did, but then the movie got kind of a mixed reaction. People didn't hate it, but it wasn't as popular as they were hoping, but it didn't fail necessarily. That wouldn't be till later in the DC thing. That was kind of a mixed bag, but that's a whole nother topic. But I thought this movie was fun and bold, but a little darker and grittier, and it did differentiate itself. And the CGI for a lot of the fight scenes between Superman and General Zod looked good for the most part. There's a couple of parts here and there a little dicey, but overall this thing was pretty good. But a little over the top, I think, for some people. And there were parts it was like it just went full on Michael Bay for a couple sequences. But overall, it still really works for me. And I thought it was a different take on this character, and I really thought it was good. And I think in the years to come, people are saying maybe not necessarily a misunderstood masterpiece, but they're going to look back on it and be like, you know what, this was pretty damn good superhero movie that tried something different and took some risks, but still stayed true to what Superman was about. So that's what I think people look. But let me know in the comments, what do you think of Henry Cavill in this role? What do you think he's going to do next? What do you think's next for Superman? How's James Gunn going to do with the Superman movie? I mean, he's starting to establish it now, but what do you think it's going to be? What are you hoping for? Let me know any of that in the comments. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.